Welcome to the Fabulous Fifties and Beyond. I'm Jim Pollard, your co-host with my wife, Jeanetta. Today we're going to be talking about a subject that someday you may be faced with, and we're going to be talking about nursing homes, and we're going to be talking with Denise Adams, who is the Purchase Area Long-Term Care Omnibus person. So we want to encourage you to stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
And he'd say, go with what you got. Start from where you are. Give it your best shot. Keep reaching for that star. Get in the race. Keep your own pace. Keep moving and never stop. Just go. Go with what you got.
Welcome back. Our guest today is Denise Adams, and Denise is employed through Purchase Area Development, right?
That's correct.
And your program is funded federally, I think you told me.
Yes, sir.
Tell us a little bit about it, because you know, we get into the term omnibus man or person, and some people don't know what that term means.
That's correct. And basically what I am is I'm an advocate for residents in our long-term care facilities in the Purchase District, which is 8 counties. I go into each of the facilities at least quarterly and make visits. You know, a lot of residents don't get visitors, don't have family in the area, or don't have family, period. And for some folks, I'm their only voice. It is, as you said, a federally mandated program that's run through the states. And in Kentucky, each ad district, which there are 15, employs a full-time ombudsman.
Okay, and there are how many nursing homes in our area?
In our area, in the Purchase District, there are 19 nursing facilities. That includes the 3 that transitional care units in 3 of our local hospitals here, Western Baptist, Lourdes, and Marshall County. And then there are 6 that are freestanding personal care homes, and then there are 2 family care homes. Now, I do not do any policing or advocacy in the assisted living homes.
All right, let me ask a question, because, maybe you cannot answer it, but you probably can. What is the difference in all the homes that you just named for us?
Sure. Nursing facilities house what we commonly think of as nursing home residents. Either an intermediate care, they need assistance with bathing, dressing, eating, ambulation, or skilled care. And in skilled care, they require a more skilled level of assistance, whether it be nursing or therapy. So that's what we traditionally think of as nursing homes. Personal care homes, there's really a fine line between a personal care home and an assisted living facility. Those are residents who primarily can take care of themselves, but for one reason or another either choose to or no longer able to live independently in the community. The family care homes, of which we have 2, are actually folks may take their home and decide to get it certified through the state to be able to take care of a few, usually 3 or 4 people within their home. And they are regulated just like the personal care homes.
Okay, go ahead.
Now, I did see, isn't one of those at Melbourne?
Yes.
That's
yes.
what I thought.
Mm-hmm.
I had looked at that.
Mm-hmm.
With my mother, we were going, different places, looking and trying to decide what to do.
As you should, as we advise anyone to do.
Yes, and I picked up on what you said about so many people in there have no one
Yes.
to speak for them, and if you don't,
That's right.
it's extremely bad.
And it's hard being one person, and in that large amount of facilities we have, there's if they're all full, 2,106 people that fall under my protection. That's kind of scary.
Yeah.
You're right. This is what we lived in South Florida for 23 years, and you're talking about being alone. Mm-hmm. When people move to Florida as couples, and then all of a sudden they end up being one in a facility somewhere, and the closest relative or person that you could call a care person is hundreds or thousands of miles away. I pastored down there, and the church that I pastored had funeral director, a local funeral director, was a member of it. And so if somebody wanted a Baptist preacher to do the funeral and they didn't have one, I was the one that would go in and do it. And I remember distinctly, it was heartbreaking that we went in one day, I went in there to do a funeral, and there was my wife and one person.
Sad.
Yes.
It's extremely sad.
It is. It is.
I know when Jim's mother died and we came back up, she was in Nashville and we came up back for her funeral and there were so many people in there and it was so noisy and somebody said something about the noise. I said, enjoy it.
That's right.
You know,
Right.
I'm serious because they have no idea
Yeah.
what it is to go. And maybe
No
there'll
one
be
there.
no more than a half a dozen people there or something. And that's very sad.
It is.
So, you know, and like you said, your job is a good job, but it's a frightful job at times as you think about the responsibility that's on your shoulders. And it's why we talked about this earlier, but I think we did this in asking questions, and I think it would be good for our audience to know about what is the limit of your authority and your responsibilities and like your chain of command, I guess,
Sure.
and where you go from there.
Sure. In each facility, when someone is admitted, they are given our toll-free number as well as our local number, family members and residents alike, so they know how to contact. And I do get complaints, several complaints on a weekly basis, and I go and investigate each of those complaints. Most of them are things that myself working with the administrative staff, we can handle and resolve it. If, however, I go in either on a complaint or just on a random visit and I find something that needs attention, something that I feel like is just not right, and I've been a nurse for 24 years, and you know how sometimes you just kind of get that gut feeling that things aren't right, then it is my responsibility to notify 2 agencies who actually come in and police and make sure that the facilities are within their regulatory rights, and that is the Office of Inspector General, OIG. That's who we think of as the state coming in and doing a survey, and that's who I notify if I find something that I feel like needs attention, as well as Adult Protective Services, which each county in the Purchase District and every county in the state has a APS office. And those folks come in and protect if I feel like there's been any type of abuse, either verbal, physical, or sexual, or exploitation. And we just had an exploitation case in the Purchase District. And so I get those agencies involved. So basically, I am purely an advocate. I just make sure that the proper channels are followed. I don't have any regulatory rights within those facilities.
Is there a system where you grade them and give them the nursing homes or whatever?
I don't. However, Medicare has come out with a recent 5-star rating system. I don't know if you've heard or read anything about it. But yes, they are given ratings. And you can go to medicare.nhcompare, which is Nursing Home Compare, on the website. And you can pull up by county, by zip code, by state, and look at any nursing home in the state. And within our Purchase District, we pretty much look like the state as a whole in that the bulk of our facilities fall in the average range. We have 5 above average, 5 below average, and I think 8, 10 in the average category.
I'm going to ask a question. Maybe, I know we think this sometimes, but is it true that a lot of the quality of care boils down to dollars and cents?
Unfortunately, I feel like that's true. And, you know, there have been so many cuts. And I've worked in management in nursing facilities, so I can, as well as having had parents in a facility.
Well, I didn't mean that as a derogatory example.
It's very difficult to, from a management standpoint, to provide what you would feel is necessary care because of the reimbursement. So it's just a vicious cycle of trying to do what's best to take care of our elderly and disabled.
We've been a big advocate of the government providing dollars for home care, family care, because there is no really provision, is there, at this point, for someone staying at home, being taken care of by their family?
There is a new program, or fairly new within the past year, there's not a lot known about it. It's called Money Follows the Person Transition Program.
Oh, really?
And that's actually a state funded through the Medicaid system, where if a resident whose primary payor source is Medicaid and they rehab to the point that they could go home with some minimal assistance, then Medicaid will actually pay to relocate them back in the home. And there are certain criteria that have to be met, but there is movement in that direction. It doesn't have to be a one-way street, although most of the time it is.
That's one thing we push for that. We talk about it here because we have known she's been through it with her mother more than my mother died at 67, so she was never in a nursing home. She from home to hospital, then died. But her mother was 92
Almost
when she
93.
died.
But we know that they do better at home than they do
Sure.
usually in a facility.
Most of the time. And then you look at, we have patients or residents who stay in the home and they do get neglected, and so it's really a fine line. As long as they can have proper care, sure, they're
Right.
going to do better in the home.
And this is and that's where our philosophy comes in, that we feel like that if they were some reimbursement program, that the care could be better at home.
But now, don't some of the, like if you had an insurance policy for nursing home,
Yes.
and some of those
A
allow
lot of
for at
long-term,
home.
yes, ma'am, you're exactly right. The long-term care insurance policies, which I think we'll see more of as my generation ages
Right.
in place.
So what do they do? You were doing that?
They pay a family member or somebody to
Right,
stay
it can
with.
be an outside person, a family member, and it
With the
actually
person.
pays for them to stay at home.
Well, it's usually cost a lot less. The company
I would think
a lot
so.
less
I
than
would
a nursing
think
home.
so.
Well, that's, we at our age, we need to be an advocate as well as we look
Sure.
at things. I mean, because we may have to look at a nursing home someday,
Sure.
and it's on our mind, and we like to take care of as much of that stuff in advance as we can, rather than that decision being laid as
Right.
becoming a burden on somebody else. We've tried to do that in our health declarations and stuff like that. And I think that's important that people look at that and not leave those last minute decisions on somebody when
Sure.
they have to be made in a critical situation.
Right.
And that's where a lot of them do. Well, Denise, we're halfway through, and we're about time for a break here, and
Right.
we will we'll be back in a little bit more, and we'll be talking more about this. This is a very interesting conversation, and I appreciate your being here. So you stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
America's veterans have come from all walks of life and every corner of the nation to bravely serve in protecting our way of life. It is the privilege of VA to return that service with the excellent health care that our veterans have earned. And it is the nurses of VA, men and women of all backgrounds, who help to make that quality health care possible by providing a vital service to the community, by sharing ideas in a supportive, professional environment, by giving the best of themselves every day, and by advancing to the top of their field. But most of all, by providing excellent and direct care to every one of their patients.
We are the nurses of VA.
VA Nursing, a career in caring. For more information, contact vacareers.com.
We didn't have much to give then. So when they showed up firing them mean looks around the place and staring us down on prices, well, I was angry. Didn't seem to bother my father, though. He had me load another bushel of apples in their trunk. I learned later on that this family was in need.
The greatest gift we give, it's in our heart, what we believe, the way we live.
Caring for others. Pass it on.
And he'd say, go with what you got. Start from where you are. your best shot. Keep reaching for that star. Get in the race, keep your own pace, keep moving and never stop. Just go, go with what you got.
Welcome back. Our guest today is Denise Adams, and we're talking about long-term care. She is the omnibus person representative of the nursing homes in the PAD area, and she's a good person for you to get to know if you have someone in a nursing home or you're looking for a nursing home. If there's a problem, I guess it's her number to call, right?
That's correct. That's correct.
Some people don't want to put their number out, you know.
Yeah, well, it's on a big poster as you walk into each facility, so it's no secret.
It's my job, right?
That's right. That's right.
And so you're the only person.
I am, and that being said, I'm looking at my volunteer program. I would like to see it prosper. I've only been in the position 4 months, although I've been in long-term care and a nurse for years. But my goal within a couple of years is to have enough volunteers that in each of those facilities I have someone besides myself that will visit weekly. And that's what we ask, is 2 hours a week, which is not a lot of time. And you're really doing something to help. And if I could know that there were another set of eyes and ears in those homes, because I can't be in all those homes
Right.
on a weekly basis, that would be a great thing.
Yes, it would be, because I really feel sorry for people who, and sometimes it's not because they don't have family. It's because the family just will not come and see them
Right.
and take care of them. And
Right.
that's
Yeah,
what's
people say
so
it's
sad.
depressing to go in the nursing home, but life is what you make of it. And if you do have a loved one in a facility, then you should want to ensure that they're having the best life that's possible.
Well, now let's talk about your volunteer program. Maybe we can help you here some here. Number one, would a volunteer need to have someone in a nursing home to be part of your volunteer program?
No, not at all. And there are actually two types of volunteers we have. One is a certified volunteer ombudsman, and they actually go through the same initial 24-hour training, which I'm certified to do. And they are certified, then they can call in APS just as I could. Of course, we ask that they report all
Right.
those to me as
Right.
well. But they are trained. And the other is a friendly visitor, and they just get a 2-hour orientation that I provide them that just gives them the basic tools to be able to go in and make assessments for me. Anyone that volunteers is screened, so we know that they're safe to put them out in a home.
Right.
We do a criminal background check. Right now, we do have a few volunteers that are wonderful, but we would like to see a whole lot more.
And you're asking for a 2-hour-a-week obligation?
That's correct.
Yeah. And do you assign them to a particular nursing home?
Yes,
facility?
with their input. You know, some folks may live close to one, and that's the one they choose. If they don't have a preference, then we would certainly look at getting them in some place that's not too far, not right, not a far drive for them. But that is what we ask: 2 hours a week minimum, and then they just fill out a little worksheet and submit that to me.
Yeah.
That would be a great thing.
It really, and you feel like you've done something when you go in and visit these folks who don't get visitors, and you get the love and you get the knowledge. You know, our elderly are able to tell stories that are going to be lost on future generations, and it's a feel-good thing to do.
Well, that's one of the things that we tell our people here who watch our show. One of the reasons when we talked about starting the show, and we discussed with our director, you know, what kind of show would we do, and we talked about people in this age group who a lot of them are already retired. That there is a wealth of knowledge, talent, and ability out there that in my mind was going to waste.
Exactly.
And so that's one of the things that we've tried to do with this show is to encourage people to get involved, you know, do something. We always close our show with use it or lose it. And we say that that's not only physical abilities, but it's mental and
Exactly.
psychologically too. And so we encourage people and we tell them, don't wait to be asked, go volunteer. Because I know a lot of people sit back and wait for somebody to ask them, and they're dying to do something, just waiting for somebody to ask them. But so many organizations like yours, you'd be happy for them to call you and say, what do I need to do, right?
Exactly, exactly.
And there are a lot of people that could do this.
Right. We see in many other districts within the state, it's not a difficult thing to do, and to be a friendly visitor, all you have to have is a caring heart. The certification, you do have to pass an exam. We do see a lot of retired professional folks, doctors, accountants. Not that it's a difficult test, but they still want to do something worthwhile, and it's a great program for that. And I wish we could pay them. Unfortunately, as you know, the federal and state funds these days, so I'm lucky I'm still getting paid. But you do get a self-fulfillment from it.
Well, we're hospice volunteers, so we know, we had to go through basically all of that certification ourselves, background checks and all that too. And I guess all volunteer programs pretty well require that today, don't they?
Anymore, yes, sir.
Yeah. And
I would think that the churches would be one of your good sources of looking for volunteers.
And that's where I'm trying to get the word out through. I know a couple of churches in the area have had health fairs, and I've had flyers there. Unfortunately, I haven't had a lot of takers, and it could be that it was winter when I started. Spring and summer, people think more about getting out, and certainly we had a bad winter. But I am working to get the word out, and I agree. Churches, senior centers for those seniors who are still real active, just as the hospital have the volunteer program. I'm hoping to build a similar program.
Yeah.
So I know that when I was in Florida, our church had a visitation program to one nursing home.
I think a lot of churches.
Once a week, they do. And they would go, and you go around and try to talk to everybody.
Right, and
spend a
actually,
few minutes.
if they had a similar program, I could come to their church and do their 2-hour training. They wouldn't have to come to the PAD office, or I'll be accessible to assist in that training, and then they would be able to report, and I think get something worthwhile from it.
Well, we know that we have a lot of people that watch our show that do volunteer, and that's exciting. And we have people that watch our show regularly, so that's one of the reasons we try to put new programs out there in front of them. It's exciting to us when we're downtown somewhere and somebody says, "Oh, I saw you last week on TV,"
Right.
because this is a volunteer effort for us also. And we enjoy bringing the programs to the people that are there, that we feel like they need to know about. And I did not know you were looking for volunteers when we previously talked, but I think that's a great sidebar of what we're doing is to try to find volunteers into that program. Because as we know, nursing homes can be depressive, but I think a lot has to do with the mindset that you have when you go in there.
We do. And we actually have many very nice homes. We are blessed to have some very nice homes in the Purchase District.
I tell people all the time, if they don't want to go to nursing home, that one day it might be you there, so you need to do something.
You're exactly right. You're exactly
And
right.
there's not a one of us that knows that
No.
that we might not end up there someday.
None of us know what tomorrow will bring.
That's right. And there are people in there that are not nearly as old as we are.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah, we
it's-
consider ourselves very blessed to have the health that we have, at our age, and we can hope to continue. You never know, but it's just I think it would be a tremendous ministry or a volunteer that somebody could do to take part in this and do that. And like you say, I know we visited around different places, had different ones on our show. There are a lot of good facilities that are in this area.
I had a little story that I like. It's cute, when my mother was in a nursing home, the lady, this was just one time, she'd been in, for rehab sometimes before, but her roommate, bless her heart, she almost never had family come to see her, and she did have family. So when we were there, we would try to do, whatever we could for her. But the problem was you couldn't always understand what she was saying. So one day she was trying to get me to do something, and I didn't know what she wanted. But I did understand the next thing she said. She said, "Just sitting there like a dummy."
And that's a good point. A lot of times with stroke patients in particular, they have trouble communicating, and they can sometimes communicate when they get real frustrated.
She did, but I still didn't know what she wanted.
Still didn't know what it was she needed.
Well, Denise, we appreciate you being with us today, and I think we've learned a lot about what you do, and that the service is available.
Yes.
And that's what's important, that our people know that this is available, and that there's somebody that they can call on. Did you want to say something? And it's important that they know that.
Well, it's just so important to see that they are taken care of.
Yes.
And it's so sad to see somebody just put them in the nursing home. This is what somebody told me. The terrible thing is not putting them in a nursing home. It's never going to see them and never checking on them and never knowing how they're doing. Because if you don't do this, they're just at the mercy of whoever.
That's true.
And like you say, you cannot do it all.
I can't be in all the homes on a weekly basis, but once again, that's why many more sets of eyes and ears would be great.
Right.
But it's a very rewarding position. It's something that I've always felt like I would enjoy doing, and I do, very much so.
Well, give them your telephone number one more time.
It's 270-251-6120, and I'm embarrassed to say we have a toll-free number that is not in my head at the present time.
It's probably the same one that Crystal gave us.
It
But
is.
yeah, they'll put it
It
up, and I
is.
think we had your other number up, your
Okay.
switchboard number
Yes.
up on it also. But
Yes.
we appreciate you being with us
Thank you
today.
so much.
Very much. And we appreciate you being with our show today too, and we hope that you've learned something about long-term care and the help that's available there for those of you who have someone in a nursing home, or if you're contemplating putting someone into a nursing home. And as my wife said, it's not the bad part of putting someone there. The bad part is never going and see them. So if you have someone there, we encourage you to go visit them and open your eyes and see what's going on. And that's really important. Well, it's about time to wrap up another show here, and we've had another great day. We hope that you will continue to watch our show in the weeks ahead. We'll still have you some other great shows. Remind you also that our shows are being streamed on the internet. If you go to paducah2.org, you can track us down through the television there and see some of our past shows and some of our future shows, and we encourage you to do that. Again, we thank you for being with us today, and remember, use it or lose it.
Can't see as well as I used to. Can't run as far or as fast. Sometimes I think that the old me is becoming exactly that. But when I start thinking of all I don't have, that's when I tell poor me Beethoven was 50 and deaf as a post when he wrote his Ninth Symphony.